What is up, everybody? Yeah, that's right. I'm back. Um, quite a little change. Got a new logo, even a new little little background. Um, so it's been about 2 years now since I left this channel and went to serve in the Colorado Denver North mission. It was a blast, guys. All sorts of stuff I got to do. Um, Unfortunately, I started there only. I was only in Denver. Specifically, I was in Colorado. I was in Aurora, Colorado for 2.5 months, basically three. And I got transferred home. So you may be thinking, what did I do when I was home? Well, I did service. I transferred over to do a service mission rather than a teaching mission. So essentially, I got to do service here at home. So I didn't just do chores at my house or something. I would go out and serve in the community. I would go to charitable organizations, or I'd serve at things like the church orchard. Um, I could do other projects like animal shelters, um, training other people to be missionaries, um, all sorts of stuff. There's a lot of service, and I'm going to do a whole video on that with pictures and pictures I can find and a better summary of that. Overall, it was a blessing in my time. I really, really enjoyed my time there. I got to meet all sorts of people, people from Ethiopia, Oregon, um, Arkansas, New Zealand, really just all sorts of people. Even though I was, still here in my home state, so I was really blessed with that. I got to meet all sorts of people that really I still value in my life. I still get to talk to today. Made a lot of new friends. I grew a lot. I got to do things like learn how to use a skidster, drive more modern tractor. Tractor over here is a lot older, so it was pretty fun using a newer one. Yeah, so that's just my little bit of a summary of the mission. I really enjoyed it, and it's a blessing. And I really don't regret my time up there, and it was a good time. So, first, I wanted to start with a little reaction to the Rams versus the Lions game. So, that was a very, very good game, to be perfectly honest with you. If we look here, we had all sorts of studs. So the main guys for me that really popped off were J-Mo, Aiden Hutchinson, David Montgomery, Alex Angelone, Jack Campbell, Kirby Joseph, Marcus Davenport, and Levi. So I really wanted to give a couple of shout outs. A lot of these guys were written off, or a couple of these guys were written off specifically by Lions fans. Specifically, I saw a lot of Lions fans go after J-Mo, Anzalone, Davenport, and Levi. And I was guilty of going after Anzalone. But, a lot of people were talking about Jameson Williams is a bust, or he's not going to get it together, he's immature. And he just basically was the core reason why we defeated the Rams, and he was the main target for Jared last week. And then Angelo, 3 tackles for loss. He really went off against the Rams. Marcus Davenport, people questioned if he would be good because he has that injury history and he didn't have enough sacks in his recent memory. And he was a core guy that really helped Aiden Hutchinson not get the doubles that he used to. But the last guy that people wrote off was Levi Onwuzurike. Levi was completely written off by beat writers, professionals, casual fans, and even some hardcore fans because of his injury history. And he went in and he got a sack with Marcus Davenport. He was getting pressures. He was being good in the run game, and he was really popping off on the screen. And he was also showing a lot of versatility playing defensive end or defensive tackle. It was really impressive to see what Levi can do. And he really showed what hard work does. And of course, Aiden Hutchinson, you expect him to be a stud. Kirby Joseph, you expect him to be a stud. Jack Campbell was good as always, and David Montgomery was, as we know, had his clutch genes in. And of course, there's other people who you can honorable mention, like John Muir Gibbs, and other players. And so it was a good game. I definitely want to see a lot more success in the offense. Jared Goff had a little bit of a down day, but of course, he didn't play in the preseason. He was a little rusty. Amon St. Brown had his worst day that I've really seen him since his rookie year. Um, and Sam Laporte did not have a great game, so it was good those guys back in there. See our O line do a little bit better too. So that was the big things that I saw from the Lions Rangers game. So then, what up, One Pride? So then I want to talk about our matchup against Tampa Bay. So let's look at Tampa Bay real quick. See what kind of a team we're facing with the Bucs. So the quarterback, everybody knows him, loves him, Baker Mayfield. Yeah, he went off against the Commanders with 4 passing touchdowns. And you have Rashad, I need to figure out how to say his name. He had a pretty decent day, over 100 yards total, and Bucky Irving had a touchdown. Mike Evans is still Mike Evans. Chris Godwin is still Chris Godwin. McMillan had a touchdown last week. And Trey Palmer's one of the best receiver fours in the game. Kate Auden is a guy people are kind of expecting to break out anytime soon. And of course, Tristan Wirfs, one of the best in football. Graham Barton, first round pick. I really like him. Cody Mock, I really like him. They will be losing Luke Godeke, or Godeke. I don't really know how to say his name as well. So they will be either going with Skule. Yeah, they're just going to be going with Skule as the right tackle. So that's one thing to look out for. We could really see a lot of havoc go on that right side. So we could see Hutchinson rotate there, or perhaps we see Josh Pascal have himself a day, or maybe Levi or whoever we play at that defensive end spot. And their defense, Kalijah Cansey, I was a big fan of him. So was One Pride, who's in the stream. I think he'll have a pretty decent day. But here's the thing. He's out, so he won't have a good day. So that's a big help for us. Now, of course, they do have depth. They got Greg Gangs there. I think he's pretty good in the run game, but I don't think he'll be a big enough deal. So then our real worry at the interior is Vita Vea. Now, Vita he's going to be a problem. He's going to take up double teams. He's going to be forcing both to run the pass game. And you got Logan Hall. Logan Hall will be decent. I don't think he'll do anything insane. He is a high round pick though. Got to remember that. Yaya Diaby, he had himself a pretty good season last year, 7.5 sacks. So he's quite the force in pass. KJ Brett only had 3 tackles last year. I don't think he's too insane. Levante David. He's going to be good, probably as long as Bobby Wagner. Joe Tryon, he's pretty good. He had himself a sack last week. Jamal Dean, one of the best corners in football. Jordan Whitehead, one of the best safeties in football. But they will be losing Antoine Winfield. So he's going to be out, and he's kind of their big guy who can really cover that nickel. He's really helpful in the slot, so it's going to be a lot easier to go after Tyke Smith. And then Zion McCollum will be kind of having his big day to go against as well, so we could really see Tim Patrick have his chance to prove himself right there against an inexperienced corner. And Tyke Smith, he's a young guy. It's only his first season, so we'll have to see what happens with him. He may not even play because he's in illness. So the Bucs, they have some key players out right now, or at least questionable. And we'll have to see what we do. So then let's compare that to the Lions. Now, the big thing with the Lions, we have to compare where are we at with positional groups. Of course, you don't want to. Of course, we are not better at every single position, or we're not like dramatically better. The Bucs are a playoff team. I think they're going to be one of the teams that really will compete with us for the NFC spot. So we're just really going to have to see what happens there. Let me share the screen real quick for the Lions positional groups. So the Lions have some good stuff here. We got Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff is better than Baker Mayfield. at least he's proven himself to be able to get further in the postseason. He's turned around teams um, an incredible level twice now. And of course, I think we have the best running back duo in the NFL. David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs are an insane duo. You saw that Montgomery can take over a game, and so can Gibbs. And they're just a great 1-2 punch combo. We have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who I think is really the best slot receiver in football. Aside from maybe Cooper Kupp. Jameson Williams is really breaking out this year. I really think it's going to continue to show. It's not just going to be a 1 week thing. I'm pretty excited to see what we get with Tim Patrick. He's a good, reliable player. Just to really show you who Tim Patrick is. When he's healthy, he's a consistent 700-yard receiver with 5 touchdowns. And he wasn't even like the receiver 1 or receiver 2 in Denver. So he's a pretty dang reliable receiver 3, like outside receiver 3 when you need him to be. And he's a high-end receiver 4. Just the question is, can he stay healthy? And he had a good preseason with Denver, so I'm pretty confident that he's going to be really earn an active roster spot real soon. And then Khalif Raymond's he's a decent receiver 4. And we have Sam Laporta, he's going to be healthy. We need him to have a bounce back game. He didn't really do much last week. Of course, then we got one of the best lines in football: Taylor Decker, Glasgow, Ragnar Zeitler, and Penei Sewell. I'm pretty confident Sewell's going to be playing. But if we don't, we're going to be in a very similar situation to Tampa, who also will be playing out their right tackle. So whoever's going to probably be playing is going to probably most likely be the veteran Dan Skipper over Colby Sorsdale for tackle position. And what we'll probably see is that right side will be battled and tested. Then we had that defensive spot. We are going to have our own little challenge here with, most likely, we're not going to have Marcus Davenport. So the real question, who's going to replace him, is it's either going to be Levi or it's going to be Josh Pascal. I think it's most likely to be Levi. We played him a good amount last week at the defensive end spot. He's kind of that bigger guy that they like, which is what Davenport is. And I just don't think Pascal's really proved himself, and Levi's been getting those spots. And so I think you're really going to see real big, beefy D-line with Hutchinson, McNeil, and Reeder, and Levi. And you'll see Josh, of course, rotate in. I think we'll miss Davenport, but I think what we saw from Levi is we're not going to miss him as much as we normally would. Jack Campbell, he's a good linebacker. I think he's better than KJ Britt. Angelono's, of course, not as good as David, but I still think he's reliable for the most part. We'll see if last week was a fluke or not, but he's always been at least kind of like Tahir Whitehead for us. Derek Barnes, he's a pretty solid linebacker. Carlton Davis, he's actually going to probably be a good weapon, but he's probably going to be the main guy that's going to be fighting Mike Evans. Mike Evans is Mike Evans, so I think he'll probably get like a touchdown or something on him. But he's going to be experienced. Brian Branch, pretty good. He looked pretty good last week against the Rams. He had a couple nice pass defenses and a dropped pick, and he's really kind of all over the place. His 2 missed tackles, I think, are going to be flukes. Kirby, he'll be good in coverage. Seeing his liability, Terry Arnold, going to be amazing. Mike Robinson, going to be amazing. So we got all that core, and of course we got Ennis Registraw's depth. So we have a lot more depth on both sides of the ball than the Bucs. So I think we got the offense and the defense on them. I think the only thing the Bucs may have on us is deep threat ability because they have Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. But I think with Jameson Williams and how good he's going to be, I don't think it's going to be that big of a low gap there. So then, it's really what I'm going to talk about now is my predictions. How's the game going to go? Let me pull it up real quick. So I'm going to give you kind of my stat predictions and my little score predictions. So I think we're going to win 35-24. I think it's going to still be fairly high. Tampa has a good offense. They have a pretty reliable quarterback, but they're going to have some hiccups here and there without their right tackle. So Jared, I think he's going to be like around. So no, these are not going to be exact numbers. These are just around what I think they're going to get. I think Jared's going to be around 290 yards, and I think he's going to honestly have a great day. I think he's going to pick apart that Carlton Davis-less secondary and have 4 touchdowns. Baker, I think he's going to have himself a good day, but I think that pick is really going to cost him. Gibbs, I think he's going to be used a lot more in this game because Vita Vea, you're going to want to run outside a lot more than you're going to want to run inside. David Montgomery, I think he's gonna have himself another decent day. I don't think he'll have quite as a game changing day, but it'll be definitely another reliable day. I think we'll be able to keep White out of the game. I don't really know how many receiving yards we'll see from him, so I was not able to predict there. Probably enough to be decent. Vic Irving, I think he'll be kind of decent again. On the receiver side of the ball, I think JMO will probably be mostly contained by Jamal Dean. But I think you'll see maybe like one big touchdown from him. Amon Ra's going to have his little bounce back day of 95 yards and a touchdown. Tim Patrick's going to have a couple nice catches, but probably get like a red zone score. He's signaling his welcome here. Mike Evans, he'll probably have like around 100 yards again. Chris Godwin, I think he'll have a couple decent catches, and McMillan will get himself another score. I think Laporta is going to give himself a score in about 68 yards. Kind of a little bounce back game for him as well. I think Cotton will probably get a red zone score as well. I think both teams will have pretty even O lines. I think Sewell's going to be a little bit less healthy, but also Vita Vea is just a force to be reckoned with, and they have two good pass rushers. So I think that's going to be there. At the defensive end spot, it's Aiden Hutchinson. I think he's going to get a sack. I think we could just move him right over the right tackle, and he can just destroy somebody. Pascal, I don't think he'll do a whole lot. Joe Tryon, I think he'll get himself a sack. I think he'll contain Diaby since he just came back from injury. McNeil, I don't think he'll have an insane day against that interior line. I don't think Reader will either, but I think they'll take up blocks and they'll prevent double teams on Hutch and Levi, which Levi listed as a DT since that's his main spot, but I think he's going to get himself another sack. I'm really excited to see what he can do this year. Vita, I think he'll get himself a sack. He's a good player, and I could see him get the best on maybe Ragnow and Glasgow. Logan Hall, I don't think will do much. Linebacker, Ansel don't have himself a solid day. Jack Campbell, I think, is going to have himself another good day. Derek Barnes will just have a normal day, I think. Wanda David's going to be in Levante David. KJ Britt, I think, will get a little bit more tackles than last week. And at the corner position, Terrion Arnold is a beast. Okay, I think he really showed a lot of promise, but I think he's probably going to be mostly covering Chris Godwin for the most part. I think he'll be the one to get the pick on Baker. Carlton Davis, I think he's going to be picked on a little bit more. I think he's probably going to be the one that allows the touchdown to Mike Evans. I think he'll still have himself a pretty solid day, especially going against someone like Mike Evans. Meek Robertson, I think he's going to have himself a good day. He really showed a lot of promise. He was probably the most reliable corner last week against LA. Ennis Rickestraw, I think he won't do a whole lot because he's cornerback number 4, but I don't think he'll allow anything crazy. Jamal Dean, I think he'll have himself a fairly decent day going against Jameson Williams. I think he'll maybe allow a touchdown. I think we're going to really pick on Zion McCallum. I think he's going to be, him and Smith are going to have a hard day. I think those two will both allow themselves a touchdown. And then for safety, I think Kirby's probably going to maybe allow a touchdown or a branch. I think one of our safeties are maybe going to go 1-1 against Stanley McMillan. I think he's pretty good in the red zone and can possibly get himself a score. Jordan Whitehead is going to have himself another good day in run defense. I don't think he'll allow a touchdown. Eisen, we'll have to see. There's not a whole lot of information on him, so I just kind of guess with 5 tackles, and we'll have to see what his coverage numbers are. So that's really what I think is going to happen against the Bucs. I think we're going to have a fairly gritty game, but I think we're definitely going to be like in the lead. I think we're going to show offensive prowess. I think we're going to show a whole lot of stuff. Let's see, one probably giving quite a few comments here. Says it feels like we'll be the same as last year. I don't really know about that. The Bucs are a lot healthier. I think they're a lot more equipped with where they're at. But I think we'll be around the same score. I think it'll be a little bit more tough and gritty because this is a team that really wants to take that next step now they have their quarterback. Lions, we have QB, we have a whole lot of stuff and positions. I don't think we really need to be active on the trade market unless we have another major injury. We're pretty set on almost every positional group. I'm pretty excited to see what Tim Patrick can do. He's so my time in following Denver, he's been a very reliable player, and so I think he'll be good. So I think we'll be fine. I think if we were going to trade for somebody, I could see us trade for another end if Davenport gets like a long-term injury. or maybe there's just a receiver on the market that's just too good to pass up. Yeah, so that's my stream. That's what I'm going to do today. On Monday, I'm going to attempt to do a roundtable with One Pride, and I'm going to try ring in Rams house, and I'll try to talk about how we see the season going, react to the Bucs game, and really see what our future is going to be. I'm also probably on Tuesday or maybe Wednesday, I'll do a video kind of giving a summary of my mission and really give you guys that experience of what I did. And I'll have also my first actual video come out on Monday as well. And with that, I'm going to end the stream. I'm going to go watch some college football. I see One Pride's probably watching MSU. I'm going to go watch Boise State. Hope you guys have all had a good day. If you guys have any video ideas, you guys are also always welcome to comment that below. And it's good to be back. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.